Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks. Continuing our top 10 series. Today we're doing wide receivers. And we got myself, Dakota, Tim, the usual suspects, and of course, our resident wide receiver expert, Josh, joining us once again. How we doing? Oh, cheers to the beer. We got Eagles gear on.
Cheers. Yeah, we're doing well. We're in the rainy Cape May weather we got here, but we're doing well. Can't complain. We're on island time right now.
Yeah,
vibes are high.
Vibes are high. See that? Okay.
Drink a little Cape May IPA. It's good. It's good. Life's good right now.
Good. You're a fada now. Got the baby.
Yeah, we're on almost
diapers.
like three. Oh my! How many diapers I've changed? Oh my goodness.
What's the I guess start a parlay on that.
Yeah, he's about 3 months old. I'd probably change about 4-ish a day. So 4 times 90.
I was say, Alyssa's doing what, 10 times a day then?
Yeah, he poops a lot. He eats a lot. He poops a lot. I wish he slept a little more, but we can't complain. He's an angel and he's really cute. So when he's screaming at 3 o'clock in the morning, it makes it a little bit easier. Not a lot, but a little bit. You look down and you're just like, all right, it's okay.
So coming from, I've never changed a diaper. Dakota, I'm sure no one let you near their child close enough to change a diaper.
I mean, I'm the oldest sibling. What do you think?
More or less diaper changes than you expected.
The under over.
Like today alone, I think I've had because I'm not working today. Obviously, because I'm down at the beach. Mm-hmm. So I've been home. And so today I've changed more diapers than usual. I probably like 7 today, maybe.
7 diapers, man. I only went to the bathroom twice today.
I just ordered from Costco a 112 pack of diapers.
You're not drinking enough water then, Tim.
I mean,
that's a separate problem.
I guess that's a good point. I guess all right. If we're factoring that in, like 3 or 4, I lost count.
Okay.
England is known for their weather, like they are with their freedom. Like just. Very poorly, very, very poorly handled. Usually goes against them, and not something that is held up well over time.
Nice.
So does it just rain all the time, and then it's blistering hot, no air conditioning, and then you stay inside? Do you stay inside all the time?
To be fair, no. Summers are nice. Like there's 14 hours of sunlight.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You're like you always feel confident about. I wouldn't say confident, but you always feel confused on when you wake up and when you go to bed. It doesn't matter if you wake up early. You can be one of those people that wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sun's already out. You can be one of those people that stay up late and go to bed at like 11:30. Sun's still out.
Nice.
I remember that from Ireland. I remember that was like it was weird because like when we were there in Ireland, it was like 80 degrees the entire time. Like there's usually not like this here. I was like, I wish they would have told me. I would have brought a fan.
Yeah, you go to one of those. You go to the country that can't handle temperature, and you're like, maybe global warming is the thing.
Yeah, they don't believe it in like Europe, right? Because I remember my Ireland Airbnb didn't have any like AC or anything.
None of mine did. Yeah. It was like 3 Airbnbs, and none of them had AC.
Way too old. I'd be more interested. If you give me AC, I'd give up my freedom.
I would agree with that. Like the heat we had last week, it was like 105 degrees outside.
Was bad. Yeah.
If I was no AC, like I would have died.
Yeah,
easily. I
do remember seeing that because I was like, I like to check in every once in a while with the States. Be like, I grew up and I was like, all right. You haven't lived it. 105 with AC, or what were you like 88 without?
I'll take the 88.
Yeah.
It was humid as hell. Also, this year's summer has been the worst weather I've ever seen in my entire life. It just rains every day, and then if it doesn't rain, it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, and it's 100 degrees during the week, and then it pours on the weekend.
Yeah.
Do you feel like just like dim sum, like you're constantly being steamed? Like the rain comes down and just excruciating water, and then steams it up.
That's the best way to That's the best way to put it. I can even think of it. We've been dim subbed all summer.
We are steam buns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, diapers and babies aside, and Tim's inability to drink water. So we'll start off with our honorable mentions. Always let the guests go first. So Josh, I have 3. Tim and Josh. We'll see how many you guys have, but lead it off. Who didn't? Who
Sounds
just
good. So
barely missed?
So we're talking about diapers. So let's talk about some youngins here. We got I start
very
with
fitting.
Lad McConkey.
Really?
82
Wow.
catches last year, 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Okay.
The number one option for Herbert. If you watch that playoff game, he went off. This guy, he is a slot receiver, can play outside. Great hands. And if you're, like I said, he's the number one receiver for Justin Herbert, and he was a rookie last year, and he still put up those yards. I would assume that he's going to take a next step forward, and let's say 1,300 yards that next year. I think he's firmly in the honorable mention. I also have the annual honorable mention, Terry McLaurin, in there. He is always right there, but if you look at his career numbers, you see 1,096 yards in 13, 1,000 yards in 4, 1,105, 1,005, 1,104. Guy's consistent, but he's not elite. He's not going to take that next step at 30. I think he's what he is. He gets 1,010. That's very good, but it's not top 10 good.
13 touchdowns though. That was the elite jump.
He still only had 1,000 yards though.
Yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, but the third
he had 4 last year.
Jump off.
He had 4 last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the 13 he had last year. Or that was like more than his entire career.
Yeah, we're talking about outliers here. That's an outlier. He's still very good. He's probably somewhere in the 7 to 8 range this year. But if you're projecting and we're going top 10, what have you done for me lately? He was great. What does the historical say? He's probably going to be 1,006 next year.
I mean, yeah, the outlier is he finally got a quarterback that was worth anything.
True.
And his yards didn't even increase though.
Yeah. I mean,
And then my last honorable mention is Drake London. He was like 34th in yards last year.
Yeah.
100 catches, 7 touchdowns.
He's kind of underrated.
Could be good.
I feel like
he's very good. Honorable mention, not top 10.
Yeah.
But he's next year. If we put him in the top 10, is anyone really going to be surprised?
I mean, if he gets some consistent quarterback play.
Yeah. So. I mean, Penix looked good in his last few starts.
I mean, yeah, we'll see if they can build some chemistry and he's actually the real deal. But I don't hate those picks. Tim, I'm going to skip you. So last year I was a little bold. I put this guy, I think, at number 10 or number 9. And he was a rookie. He didn't even touch the field yet. So I'm going to dial it back a little.
Already. You knew I was going to bring that up. Because
he didn't even get my honorable mention.
Yeah, I was going to touch base with you both on here. Because after he played football games, I knew he wasn't going to make either of your top 10s.
Well,
didn't make mine.
And you know what? Josh is being realistic. You were strictly just trying to show face by putting him your honorable mentions because he doesn't deserve to be there.
So Marvin Harrison Jr. is in one of my honorable mentions.
Can you give me a reason other than the fact that you put him in the top 10 without playing a game ever?
He's got a great name.
Listen, it comes from a great lineage. His father was a beast with the Colts. He did have 8 touchdowns. He was averaging 14.3 yards per reception. That's pretty good. Just under 1,000 yards at almost 900. I do think this year he'll be more comfortable in the system. Hopefully Kyler's a little more consistent. They have a good, great tight end in McBride. Hopefully their offense plays a little better. James Conner's a good running back. And he got a lot beefier this season from what I've seen. Like he put
on a lot of weight.
He put on a couple pounds of muscle. Like he looks a lot stronger. So I'm, stepping back from my gaudy prediction from when he was a rookie, but I still think he's going to finish like top 10 in stats. I think there's other guys that are more established who I'll let them be crowned in the top 10 but he's sniffing it. So yeah, a slight blunder from last year. And then, also have lost my list already. I didn't hear Josh mention him, so he might be on his list. But Malik Neighbors, the Giants.
Oh,
he's firmly on my list.
Listen,
he's definitely on my list.
I get it.
He's firmly on my list.
I get
Tim was throwing the ball last year.
I get it. He was catching the ball from Italian mobsters, but I'm just not ready to. I know I gave Marvin Harrison Jr.
He did what
he wanted Marvin Harrison Jr. to do.
That he did, but I just not I don't trust the Giants offense at all. Like I can't. I know like OBJ was doing great when he was young. With they only had him and Saquon basically. Um, but I mean 7 touchdowns, but he had 11 yards per reception. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 14. So he was
hard to get yards per reception with.
Well, Neighbors was getting. He had 170 targets. 170 targets.
He only played 15. He only played 15 games. He could have got more.
And 80 of those targets were actually in the stadium. The other ones were in the parking lot.
That's Jamar Chase and Jeddah's target volume. But no, I think like definitely if we see him do this again, he'll definitely propel into my top 10. But he's like 11, so he's right on the cusp, but couldn't quite crown him yet. Going back to old Dakota, not letting the rookies in, but
I like that you made 2 picks that argue with each other. Marvin Harrison made an appearance, but a guy you had in your top 10, I don't even know where you had him, but without playing it down ever in his life. And then Malik Neighbors right after him, who hasn't done enough.
He literally couldn't probably do any more with what was given.
I think actually I'd argue that he surpassed every expectation you could have given him.
I had him at number 10 last year, so he
I
dropped
think
out.
Malik Neighbors had the type of year that would have been better than what you expected from Marvin Harrison.
100%.
Yeah,
the expectations for Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors surpassed them.
I agree.
Fair enough. And then this guy has been a resident on the list. He actually was my number 1 for a couple years, but I haven't seen it the last 2 years. He's been bouncing around teams, and now he's on the Rams. We'll see how that goes. See if he plays full season. But I got Devontae Adams here. It was a tough cut, but I just feel like I haven't seen it lately. So
yeah,
did not make my list.
Yeah, I cut a bunch of old heads, to be honest. So I feel like once you hit 32, it's like, how much can you really give?
Yeah.
Because you're not getting better. It's not like you're going to turn the clock back and go for 1,500 yards again. It's usually not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I had Devontae at 6 last year, but I feel like he wasn't even on the field this year. Like he seemed so irrelevant. So
he's tough. Where the last 2 years were spent with the Aaron Rodgers circus, and the year before was we're going to trade away your best friend, and you're stuck with what we have, Raiders.
Yeah.
He's a guy that if he went to the Rams with McVay, I wouldn't be surprised if he found his way again.
Fair.
He's fighting for targets, though, more than he's had in a long time.
I mean,
he'll be good. Like, if he goes for, like, 75 for 950,
I mean, it's also
a good year for him.
Also crazy to think that he's now the second option on an offense. So
I think that benefits him now. Like we were talking about, like he's past the age of getting better. I think his situation got a lot better. I mean, he's playing next to a alpha number 1, which I'll get to later.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him in that role.
Yeah. He's up there on my list. But those are my top 3 honorable mentions. Tim, who you got in participation trophies for?
All right, so the first one that you made me go through my waiver wired pickup because I didn't realize we were giving this many participation trophies away.
Always.
Guy that really, I just love to see him stay healthy. Him and this entire offense look like they need to just break through. Injuries were the only thing that held him back last year, but he still went over 1,000 with 7 tutties. So I like Nico Collins. I think Nico Collins can do more. I think the Texans offense can do more. I'm buying the Texans offense being better than what we saw.
Interesting.
Oh, I also really like Nico Collins. We'll talk about it later.
As do I.
He's too hurt. He misses too much time.
What do you mean? He played 16 games 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was just this past
2 years ago. The key fact of that is 2
years ago. Because of last year? He was so incredible last year.
What about the fact that he played like
10
games the year before that?
The Texans offense after he got out, they fell apart. He's so important.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but the Texans didn't really do great. I think he was playing really well. Am I saying he was a top 10 wide receiver even when he was playing well? but he missed.
What do you mean? When he was on the field, he was easily a top 10 receiver.
Sure, but he also missed
Like not
5
even
games,
close.
which,
He was probably, if he played played 17 games, we're talking like a crazy pace where he's probably like 6th or 7th on this list.
see, there's a good point that you mentioned, and that was if. And the if part we can't ignore. Granted, you both like to reward players that don't play, so I can understand where you're coming from. 12 games is
I don't
like,
know what you're
dude,
talking about.
that's an entire career compared to giving Marvin Harrison a top 10 nod without playing any
Last
games.
year. Move on.
He's definitely right there. Had he played if he was a little more healthy, then sure. But he missed some time. The Texans' offense in general was slowing back. You could argue that Nico Collins getting hurt was a big part of that. Tank Dell also got
Their
hurt.
offensive line was horrible.
Stephon Diggs also got hurt. Like, there was a lot of parts of that team that took a step back. I'm not going to say, the Texans fell apart when Nico Collins got hurt. Like, a lot of other players got hurt.
But they definitely that was probably the biggest impact in my eyes. But
Definitely.
And
he's also the only player of that offense that when he's on the field, you're like, all right, I need to know where that man is at all times.
He was making plays.
Listen, this is why I'm rewarding him for, but I'd like to see him stay a little healthier. So if I could see him to catapult yourself into a top 10 range, I need to see more consistency than what we've seen. And some of it with him is just missing time.
I mean, consistency, he's been consistently a top 10 receiver on the field for the last
He does also consistently miss games. He does consistently miss games too.
What, from 1 year?
I mean, his first 2 years were basically nothing.
It's a lot of time for an honorable mention.
I'm just trying to defend him. This is a preemptive defense for where you clearly. I don't know where you two have him in the top 10, but I'm shocked that you found room for him in the top 10.
Shocked?
I'm shocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
My second guy, Snoosh, you already talked about him, actually. I gave you a little bit, but I agree. He's the most consistent wide receiver for what he is, and it's more impressive considering how awful his quarterbacks were. But I'd like to see him really break out this year, so I went Scary Terry. But I think he's going to hold out. He's going to get his contract. If I'm Washington, I easily pay him.
Whatever he wants.
I don't let this drag out, but I really think he could really break out a little bit more now that Jaden's there because he's played with some garbage quarterbacks, especially with Debo and a little better offensive line. I'd like to see what the Washington does. And then my next guy is another young buck. I really like him a lot, just couldn't find a spot for him. So this is why he just found his spot out there. We're going with the first rookie making the list, and we're going Brian Thomas.
That's not his name. There you go.
Yeah, who's Brian Thompson?
I will also get with him a little later.
Ooh, I like him a lot, and he was on my fantasy team last year, but he did not make my honorable mention or my.
I actually think it's insane that you would put Nico Collins ahead of Brian Thomas.
I don't have Nico Collins ahead of Brian Thomas.
Well, Dakota clearly does.
Listen, we'll get to it.
I mean, you rewarded Marvin Harrison for doing nothing. Brian Thomas came in.
I love Brian Thomas, but
he's a baller.
Yeah,
he's had 10 touchdowns.
I would argue that Brian Thomas numbers would be better than what you would have expected Marvin Harrison to do as rookie.
Marvin Harrison's done with. He doesn't need to be brought up.
I mean, you both picked him to be in your top
I didn't pick him this year.
No.
Yeah, I know. That's what makes it even worse. I don't know in what world you thought I wasn't going to bring
No, it's not worse. I moved on. If I didn't see it, I moved on.
Tim's like, this is my time to shine.
I don't know why you didn't think I was going to bring this up more, like 10 different times.
All right.
But yeah, I'll keep it. Brian Thomas, I mean, Jaguars were awful. They were probably the most disappointing team of the year, but put up big numbers. Bright spot. Like to see what him and Hunter do, but I can't buy any stock in the Jaguars. They've bit me too many times. I don't know what's wrong with that team, but Brian Thomas can ball. I'm ready to get bitten now.
I'm ready to get bitten.
Yeah, I really wanted to get him on my list, but it's so talented, and I went with a lot of veterans. To be fair, so
I did the opposite.
Can't believe. I don't know what world Nico Collins gets higher than Brian Thomas.
It's the fatherhood. It's the youth movement in my life. It's just everyone's so young, so I got to get rid of all the old heads. I got to show a little love to the youth.
Fair enough. All right, to the guest with your 10 pick. What we got?
I got I got Nico Collins at 10.
Oh,
Oh, all
okay.
right. That's reasonable. I wouldn't fight you on that one.
Okay, Nico Collins. In the 12 games he played, he had
12
68
games is not a full
catches.
season.
We're going to get there. 68 catches. He still had 1,000 yards in 12 games and 7 touchdowns. If you pace that out to 17 games, he had 96 catches, 1,425 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
I agree.
That's an elite season. Let's go back to 2023. 80 catches, almost 1,300 yards, and 8 touchdowns with 16 yards per catch. We're talking about an elite receiver when he's on the field. Okay, he missed 6 or 5 games this year, but when he played, he was a top 10 receiver in the league.
That's a third of the season, pretty much.
Yeah, but in 2/3 of the season, he had 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. Basically, what Terry McLaurin did.
I mean, listen. I agree with what you're saying, but you like to reward players that don't play, so I can totally understand why you have him rated so high.
There was one player who ever done that.
I have nothing against Nico Collins. We're not too far off. 10 to honorable mention. I just like to see him be a little healthier.
I'm gonna do a little piggybacking because Nico Collins is my number 9, so I'll just put that out there. But everything, nah. I mean, everything Josh was saying was like you look at his numbers, and he went from like around 500 yards his first 2 seasons to then full-time start. Do you remember when like people were like, "Who the hell is C.J. Stroud going to throw to?" Like, who the hell is Nico Collins? And then he just bursted onto the scene, almost 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns, and then if he had played a couple more games, he would have eclipsed that this year. But he got hurt towards the end of the season, and then their season fell off the rails. But still had 7 touchdowns. Still 14.8 is still great. Just over 1,000 yards. But I think if he's fully healthy, he's such an impact. And now you don't have to worry about Stephon Diggs getting targets because he's over in New England. Also crazy that he used to be on our list and he's not even sniffing it. But
nope.
Yeah, I think he's only 6. Like he's young, he's quick, he's 6'4". Like as long as he plays at least 75% of games every season, he'll be in this discussion for a while. I think he's got all the tangibles. So, but
just when you watch him, I feel like for defenses at least, like they're always keying in on him.
Yeah, and he's a very smooth like runner. Like he's just like sneaks in between defenders, and I like his
makes big plays.
Yeah, I like his game.
I had nothing bad to say about him.
Longest score was 75 yards.
Yeah. Tim, what do you mean all you said is bad things about him?
I just think you guys are giving him a little too much credit.
What do you mean? He just had 1,300 yards and just paced almost 14. He paced over 1,400 yards. What else do you want from him?
84 yards per game.
I know, but this whole
you don't like that?
Who's C.J. Stroud going to throw the ball to? Stephon Diggs was not bad before he got hurt. Tank Dell was a very solid wide receiver. Yeah. Nico Collins played well. There were options there. And the whole notion of the offense fell apart when Nico Collins went hurt is not true. Like there was true.
They were pretty bad to watch when you didn't have Nico Collins.
Well, that's because they didn't have an offensive line, and Nico Collins does not block.
I mean, he catches the ball. He spreads the field out.
Plus,
I don't know what else more you want Nico Collins to do on the football field. I mean, 84 yards a game. He does play.
Minus those 5 games he missed.
Okay.
Moving on. I have nothing against Nico Collins. At 9 is ridiculous. 10 I'm fine with. 9 is ridiculous.
Oh, one spot. Boo-hoo. You want me to do my 10 or do you want to do your 10?
Oh, go ahead, mister. I jumped the line.
Well, this guy was mentioned in both your honorable mentions. So I want to put some respect on a guy who's been in my honorable mentions for a long time. But besides his rookie year, has hit 1,000 yards receiving every single year. And now that he finally had a real quarterback, he had 13 touchdowns. So Scary Terry is my number 10 over all these rookie young guys. The man's just consistent. And when he was, Zach Ertz came along at the end of the year to be a good blanket for Jane Daniels, but Terry McLaurin was Jane Daniels' number 1 target. Like he was, if not for him, I don't think Jane Daniels would have had the same kind of season. But I mean, 82 catches, almost 1,100 yards, 13.4 yards per reception. So he's getting, the ball a lot. And like I said, 13 touchdowns. So that's 1,000 yards almost every year of his career. I don't know what you're hating on, Tim, because you were talking some shit.
I think there is some hate because his best season, he had 1,000 yards, almost
But he's
1,100
not.
yards
Yeah,
and
but
13 touchdowns.
I'd listen
You
off
look at a
those
guy like
stats.
Brian Thomas or Neighbors, and he's never had a season like either of those guys.
But he's like a possession clutch receiver too. Like you need how many years have we watched him like tear the Eagles apart? Except for that
He does
one.
that every time. Yeah, a lot.
I mean, we had him locked down the one game this year, but I think for the most part he's a terror. Like he's a gamer though. Like he'll go up and get the ball. He'll make clutch plays when he'll convert fourth down catches when you need it. So I'm looking at beyond the stats. I'm looking at the fact that without him, Jane Daniels wouldn't have had the season he had. And he just makes plays. Yeah, you don't have to have 1,800, Jamar Chase yards to be a top receiver. It's about what you do on the field. Not everything's about the numbers. So I'm looking at on the footage, not necessarily the paper.
He was my honorable mention. Like he's very good. Like he's always been very good. And I think his consistency is the best part about his game. But when you talk about like
I just look at his
ceiling and what they can give you on the top end of what they can do, a lot of these younger guys have done things that he's never done in his career.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just looking at he finally gets a legit quarterback. He makes the Pro Bowl and he's second team All Pro. You know what I mean? Has his best season. So what does that tell you?
No, he's awesome.
I mean, he's right there. You're off by I think what spot?
Yeah, so one or two spots for me. Like he's there.
Yeah.
Like I said before we started, like between like 8 and like 15, you could argue for any of those guys to be there.
Yeah, I would.
As I said, my 7 to 10 was rough. I was struggling for a bit, but
I mean, my next couple of guys, I'd put them in the same spots, to be honest, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to a guy. Honestly, he's not really a stats guy. There's always the notion of like, he's like, there's the notion of like, oh, he plays on a really good team, that's why he's really good. And then there's the flip side. If he plays on a really good team, that's why his numbers aren't very good. And this guy's definitely the latter. I know maybe it was the big lights, maybe it was the Super Bowl run, but Devontae Smith never gets credit. And this is the finally time. Like what he does is just eye test. He's amazing. He's a top 10 wide receiver if you ever did the eye test. He's never been a Pro Bowler, obviously never been an All Pro. I think he had 833. So he's right around there. He's consistently where he is. If you gave him another team where he could just be the number one option, he'd put up Brian Thomas numbers easy. I think he would surpass any numbers that Terry McLaurin's put up. But
what word did you just use?
What's that?
What word did you just use?
If?
You said if.
If?
If Nico Collins played a full season, he just had almost a 1,500-yard season.
No, I'm sorry. I said if.
You said if.
If
you said if, you gave me and Dakota shit for saying if, and you just did the same shit.
Different definition of if. If
no,
I actually get on the field and don't wear sweatpants and sit there eating sunflower seeds, I could be really good. If I paid for the embarrassment that is the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'd put up a lot of stats in a losing effort. But instead, I'm a 1,000-yard guarantee, and I just won a Super Bowl. Catching the Super Bowl winning pass. Biased, maybe. Homer, maybe.
Is this a Super Bowl winning pass?
They were up by like 58 points.
Yes.
All right, fair.
The dagger. Yeah, it wasn't all. But
there's no game winning. It was over before it started.
I can't believe I have to argue against an Eagles player. I love Devontae Smith, but like the argument I just made about Terry McLaurin, and then you were like, "Hey, Devontae Smith is not a stat guy." I'm like, McLaurin's had better numbers his whole career, and you put him in the honorable mentions, and then you crown Devontae. But no, Devontae's like top 15 for me. I agree with you that if he was 1A by himself, I think he would be getting more notice and getting the Pro Bowls and getting the accolades and better numbers. But I mean, he won a Heisman, so the potential's there. But
don't see that why that's relevant. That was 5 years ago.
But like the way we grade these is a lot of it's based on your stats and what you completed in the season. And a lot of it is the eye test. But I don't know. I just feel like I can't crown him over 10 other guys that I have on this list, and even some of the honorable mentions.
If you put him in the situation that all
these
other
say
guys
that.
are,
You
He does
can't
better.
say if. You can't say if because he's never done it.
If I was 6'4" and could run a 4.2, I'd be in the NFL. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
if Josh Gordon wasn't smoking pot, he'd still be on this list.
and if Gilbert Arenas didn't shoot himself in the foot or whoever did that,
I'm just shocked that I'm hearing it from you two. You two are the if twins. If Marvin Harrison didn't play a game, he'd stay in my top 10, but he did play football, so unfortunately, and bumped it down.
Devontae Smith was so far off my list, I don't even have his stats in front of me.
Insane.
He's like 15 for me, 15 or 14.
Put him on a different team. Put him on the Jags.
And he puts up better numbers. No way.
I think he's a guy that doesn't. I think he's a guy more held back by AJ Brown and the Eagles than he is enhanced by AJ Brown and the Eagles.
I mean,
I disagree.
Playing his role.
Some games where he was like 130. Some games where he was like 130 and touchdown.
But what was his rookie year? AJ wasn't here his rookie year. What was he was the number one guy. What were his stats?
His first year was 900 yards, 5 tutties, and 64 receptions.
But he was
not a bad rookie year.
But he was number.
He was the only one there though. Brian Thomas did the same thing. He had 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns.
No, I think AJ Brown was there.
No,
I don't know. I don't think he was.
We had Devontae I think 1 year without AJ, 1 or 2 years without AJ.
So are you really holding Devontae Smith back because of his rookie season?
But we're just talking about Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas being 1,200 yard, all this with terrible quarterback play. I don't remember. It might have been Wentz or maybe Hurts his first year. I don't know who was playing quarterback, but I love Devontae. I hate to argue this, but he's just he's not top 10 right now.
I agree. Like it's hard. Like I got Eagle shirt on. I love Devontae Smith, but I mean he's not a top 10 receiver.
He's a guy you put him on any team, you wouldn't even think about it. It's an obvious top 10. He's got the skills of a top 10. The only reason you don't put him in the top 10 is one
because the stats tell me
top 5, top 3 wide receiver.
Because in no statistical analysis are you going to see that he's top 10 in any stats.
I mean, it's
catches, touchdowns, yards.
It's hard to catch 1,500 yards in receiving yards when your running back goes for over 2K.
He's never done it though. He's played 5 seasons.
He's gone over 1,000.
He's gone over 1,000 twice.
Yeah, but he's never had the 1,200 yard, 10 touchdown season. He could be a top 10 receiver.
Hey, he's had 1,196 and 7 tutties the last year. Hardly something I would sniff my nose at.
When was that?
That was 2022, the Super Bowl year.
Mister, what have you done for me lately?
You just said Nico Collins' 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2023 was too long ago. But we're going back to 2022 to talk about Devontae Smith.
No. You said the anomaly. The anomaly in Nico Collins was that Devontae Smith has done this every single year.
What was the anomaly? Nico Collins, he just had 1,000 yards in 12 games.
Right.
I'm not buying it. Devontae Smith, eye test, money every time.
All right. Devontae Smith, Tim's number 10. All right. So after I can't believe we had to slander Devontae Smith. Josh, who is your number 9?
Number 9, I got Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay. The way you were gassing him up, I thought he was going to be like number 4. TV. No. I just think he should get a little more respect. I mean, he just was 3rd in yards, 87 catches, 10 touchdowns. He does it all. Yeah.
And he's caught a lot of that production also came from Mac Jones. Not very known for being a volume passer in a horrible offense.
Yeah.
The guy's 6'3", 210 pounds, ran a 4.3 40, 22 years old. I mean, the sky's the limit for this guy. You could say the Jags don't really produce much in terms of production, success, but it's hard to argue. But like Tim was talking about this eye test. When you're watching Brian Thomas Jr., what does the eye test tell you? He's big, he's fast, he wins on the inside, he wins on the outside, wins with the ball in his hands, goes up and gets balls in the end zone, scores touchdowns. He's the total package, and I think he'll be in this top 10 list for a very long time.
I think he's going to be in that new wave of young guys who are like supplanting a lot of this. Like my number 8 guy, for example, is the only one left of our first ranking back in 2020. So that tells you how quickly this position evolves. Um, but I don't know why I didn't put him in my honorable mentions. I do like him a lot. And like you said, he was top 5 in a lot of stats from this past year with a questionable quarterback. Um, so like a healthy Trevor Lawrence, who was, I mean, he's about as volatile as Jameson Winston. Like it's either he's throwing beautiful passes or he's fumbling the ball. Um, but yeah, no, I think if he has another repeat season where he doesn't have to be top 5, but like, top 10 in stats again and across the board, I think he would be on my list. But yeah, he's definitely fun to watch for sure. Definitely an athlete, like you said, 22. So yeah, sky is definitely the limit for him. I don't, I don't dislike this pick at all. So
Yeah, I mean it's right in the range that I kind of had him, so it's no argument there. My number 9, Mr. Reliable, Mr. Consistent,
Oh no,
every time. If you want to fight me on this pick,
no.
you have to give me an argument that doesn't involve age. That's all you have to do. Doesn't involve
He just
the word.
missed 4. He just missed 3 games.
So, did he still put up 13 touchdowns or no, I'm sorry, 11 touchdowns and 1,000 yards? That's more than Nico Collins did.
No, he didn't. Look at Collins had 1,000 yards
How many
in
touchdowns
12
did he put up?
games. 7 in 12 games.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. Not buying it. I don't know where. I honestly don't understand where you could put Mr. Consistency.
He's not. He's like
Tim,
14 for me.
Tim, I'll
14.
I'll
You're
back you
insane.
up. My number 8 is this guy.
This
You
is,
haven't announced yet, but we all know who you're talking about.
I mean, honestly, there is not
his
a
name.
single thing you could say that doesn't involve the word age to downplay him. You know, the 1,000 yards is cute and everything,
Don't know who you saw.
but of his 11 years, 6 seasons he had double-digit touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans is still doing it. He's withheld the taste of time, or the whatever the saying is. The sands of time. I think it's the sands of time.
He tastes the time.
He tastes the sands of time.
Yeah. I can't believe I have to join up and defend with Tim here, but I mean since he entered the league in 2014, he has had 1,000 yards every single season, 11 years in a row. I don't think any other
They
receiver
were force feeding him the ball to get him that number last year. Those last few games, he was getting so many targets.
None of his honestly not that much, because if you look at like Jetta and Jamar Chase, I don't think his career high target is not even close to what theirs was like past seasons. Like, does he get the ball yet? He's the number 1 option. Like, I think his career high is 148 targets. So like that's not insane. Like I've seen way more. But I mean, like Tim said, he's like always good for like around 8 to 12 touchdowns. He just goes up and gets it. He's reliable. And I think he's not going to make it first time, but I think he would make it in on like a second run of the Hall of Fame. That's how like consistent of a career he's had. And to me, he's like the Frank Gore, what Frank Gore was for running backs, he is for wide receivers, as far as like how underrated he's been. And I've been that guy that was always like Keenan Allen. There was always Keenan Allen to him for me. And I always edged it to Keenan Allen. I thought he was a little more agile, a little more explosive with big plays. But Mike Evans was always, super reliable, getting more touchdowns typically. But Mike Evans has stood the test of time. I don't know what Tim was trying to say with his sands of time, but
I think that's what he was trying to say.
I mean, yeah, that roughly was around that patch.
But
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I actually like the Frank Gore analogy. I think that's a good one.
See, I'm smart.
You have your.
I don't hate it. Like Mike Evans is awesome. Like like I said, like he was my honorable mention that I wasn't allowed to say.
I mean, he'll be 32 to start the year. Is that great? No, but I mean, he really doesn't.
He'll be 33 during the year.
He doesn't. No, he's 31 right now.
What did I say?
Oh, is
Give
he?
me an argument that
It would be
doesn't revolve
32
around
though.
age. Give me an argument that doesn't revolve around age.
So time is undefeated.
That's true. Nico
He's never
Collins
lost.
Nico Collins is aging worse than Mike Evans has.
How?
It doesn't
Mike
make any
Evans?
sense.
What do you mean?
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
He's 26.
Mike
He
Evans
just
has
paced
never
1,400
missed.
yards and 10 touchdowns.
Mike Evans has never missed 5 games in a season. He just doesn't do that.
He just missed 3.
I mean, that is not 5, but you're close.
So if he's ever missed 5, and you're saying age is he's beating time right now, he just missed 3. How many is he going to miss next year?
Probably none. Probably 1. This 3 was an outlier.
Okay.
He's usually better than that.
He's an Iron Man.
Age is not an outlier. He's 31.
Again, give me an argument that doesn't involve the word age, and I'll listen.
Six-time Pro Bowler, twice All-Pro second team, once All-Pro first team.
Like I said before, between like 8 and 15, you can interchange any of those guys besides Devontae Smith.
Put Devontae Smith on the Jaguars, 1,515 touchdowns.
No,
And they will
that was
lose.
Mac Jones.
They will win 6 games, and he will have 1,500 yards.
I don't think they'll win 6 games, but okay.
Was Brian Thomas also an LSU wide receiver?
Yes, he was.
Damn.
They're
You probably got
factory.
like 3 of them on your list then.
One, at least 3 off the top of my head. Yeah, 3.
But
All right,
Yeah,
number
4.
What do you got there, Snooze? Number
4.
7.
I got 4. 7. I thought we had 8.
no, so yeah, I think we're on 8.
We're definitely on 8.
I've been skipping because my guys are like right ahead.
Yeah, if you could just stay in line, it would help us all.
We're definitely on 8.
Okay. Yeah, if you haven't said your 8th guy, then we're on 8.
I got Tyreek Hill at 8.
Okay.
Wow. That's...
What do you have higher?
I mean, that's obvious.
Okay.
And I have him at 7. Or no, wait, did I have Mike? Hold on. Now my list is all combobulated. Go ahead. Sorry.
No worries. All right, I got Tyreek Hill at 8. 31 years old. He's getting a little up there. He's had a pretty down year for really anyone in this entire list standards. 81 catches, 959 yards, 6 touchdowns. He was healthy. He played every game. It's not like he wasn't on the field. He had some injuries.
His
he was
quarterback
on the field.
was not healthy. That's a big factor.
Sure, but he still didn't break 1,000 yards in 17 games played. I'm not arguing for him to if you have him at 7. It's not like he's so much lower than my list.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have him too far off you, but
like I had him at like 3 last year. I'm just saying he has fallen for a reason because he just went from 1,800 yards to not even breaking 1,000, and he's only 31 years. He's 31 years old.
Now, you're not too far from me, so I won't give you a big argument. My counter argument being, does him dropping have more to do with him or the fact that Tua has mashed potatoes in his skull?
I think like when you see guys' numbers in the NFL, you see a guy go from 1,800 yards to 900 yards and hit the age that he's hit. You don't really see the jump back to 1,800 yards. It's not. It doesn't happen. Will he have 1,200? Maybe, sure.
No,
but I don't think you'll ever see that top tier 1,800 yards and 17 touchdowns ever, or 13 touchdowns ever again.
I'm gonna skip the line again because I did have him at 7, Tyreek Hill. So I'm right there with you, Josh. But it does scare me that his drop off from 1,800 to about 1,000 yards, half the amount of touchdowns. He dropped in yards per reception, but
30 less catches.
Yeah, I mean the Dolphins were a mess though last year, and they
were
just
a mess.
been doing all these head scratch. They just traded for retired Darren Waller. Like I don't understand what's going on.
They traded Johnny Smith for nothing.
Yeah, So they're a weird team. But I mean he's not too far removed from being a consistent first team All Pro. I mean this is the first year he didn't make the Pro Bowl, and he had still by our normal wide receiver standard, like that was a good year, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, like that's what you expect from like a starter, but not from a Tyreek Hill. So I couldn't not have him on the list for obvious reasons. You know, he was on the
Yeah.
2010 All Hall of Fame team. So, like, obviously he was one of the best receivers of the last 10 years. So, 5-time All Pro, 8-time All Pro, or 8-time Pro Bowler, won a Super Bowl. Man, if he stayed with the Chiefs, though, I wonder how that would have panned out.
I also just think he's one of those guys that, like, when we do this list next year and he's not on it, is anyone really going to be surprised?
If he's not on it, it's probably injury. But I feel like a lot of times, I feel like the speedy guys decline faster than the big possession receivers. I feel like they lose their speed, and that was like their biggest advantage. So, but I don't know.
Yeah.
How old is he? 31?
31 up to 32.
Shit, I mean, I'm 31. I can run a couple routes. But
let's be honest. Can you get out of bed without your knees or joints hurting?
they don't hurt. They just make sounds.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're on your decline.
I'm on my Tyreek Hill decline.
To be fair, you're probably on this decline quicker than than now.
But
it's a valid argument. I don't disagree with it.
I had him at 3 last year, so that was hard for me to drop him.
I mean, but the thing is, like, if you look, all right, I hear you with the speed argument. That's fine. But this is also a guy that had 119, 111, 87. Like, he's not like, I'm going to catch 80 balls and they're going to be just deep balls. So that's why my yards are inflated. Like, he is.
I think it was the opposite, though. He didn't catch any deep balls last year.
I saw him drop some balls. Like, he was not. Yeah, he did not look like himself.
He was a possession receiver. That was it. It was a very boring.
Granted, he did have a career high in his longest reception this year with 80 yards, but yeah,
if he's not on this list last year, then everything is falling apart with the Dolphins.
I think he either bounces back and he jumps back towards our top 5, or
I think he does,
or he declines, and we label him as like this is like where his career trajectory is going to start to go.
His career depends solely on Tua. Like, I will admit, he's in a position where he needs a quarterback that can take advantage of his deep ball. He's not someone that would succeed with just not.
Well, this past season, how many quarterbacks played for him? Like they were, like I said, they were a mess.
Skylar Thompson.
Yeah,
that's true. Like, yeah, he did have a couple.
Tyler Huntley.
Like, Tim could have played quarterback. Like, it was bad. Like,
yeah, but the thing with, like, Tyreek Hill is, like, I don't think with the state of the Dolphins and the state of the NFL played Mike McDaniels last year, which they kind of figured him out a little bit. I don't think that you're going to see that. I don't think that's going to be the high-end production that they're going to see from the Dolphins anymore.
If
like, their offense was dump-offs to Devon Achane every play last year.
I mean, you just listed Skylar Thompson and whoever was playing quarterback. If Tua
played last year, he didn't miss that many games.
No, he didn't miss that many games compared to what he normally misses.
Exactly.
Would you call him?
But I mean, the offense was just
brain?
Mashed potatoes.
Oh, mashed
potatoes. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I just don't think the Dolphins are good anymore. Like, I don't think they have that Mike McDaniels flair.
I never. Like, now we're getting off topic, but yeah, I never really got the hype. I mean, they had some great explosive offenses the last couple of years, but I don't know. They just shipped off. Like, they cut Mostert, and then they're gonna run with the rookie, I guess, from last year. But I don't know. They're all over the place. I mean, Tyreek Hill is not a guy that he's always been like the best player in the offense as far as skills players. But
I'll transition to this point.
Okay.
Tua missed the most games of his entire career last year, and the year before he played every single game, and Tyreek Hill had the best year of his career. So if he's healthy, Tyreek Hill's back top 5, but we digress.
Okay.
I'm going young guy here. A guy who, going off the Tyreek Hill argument, I think could play with Dakota and probably still put up a grand. Just want to see it a little bit more.
My coverage is pretty good. Let's relax.
I'm going Malik Neighbors.
Okay.
He
would probably beat me.
He is a weapon. He is definitely a weapon. He had the season you thought Marvin Harrison was going to have.
Is he your 8?
He is my 8, yeah.
Okay.
He's got his name at number 8, and if he did this again, wouldn't surprise me if he was sniffing top 5. But, listen, 1 year, you always got to keep him in retrospect. But Russell Wilson looked awful. I think, did Danny Dimes did he show out at some point? I think he may have made himself out there one time.
What do you mean showed out?
He was on the field.
Did Danny Dimes show out?
Come on, he never showed out his life.
He took a snap. He took a snap.
Neighbors went to LSU,
played.
didn't he?
Oh,
yeah.
Neighbors, yeah. I have 4 LSU guys in
LSU,
my list.
wide receiver, that's crazy.
I mean, Malik Neighbors over 1,000 or over 100 receptions, 1,207 tutties on a team that couldn't function is pretty good. So Neighbors at a rising high.
He caught passes from Tommy DeVito, Daniel Jones, and Drew Lock.
What a crowd!
I mean, and he still had 109, 1204, and 7. I have him at 7.
Fair.
But it's like this guy is so good, and I wanted to put him higher, honestly, because he is that good. But I did because you gotta show me it. Yeah. But if Jackson Dart is even decent, the sky is the limit for this guy. We're talking Jamar Chase, we're talking Justin Jefferson type numbers from this guy. LSU, they just do it.
I'd like to see, because the argument you can always make on like bad teams with no other weapons is they've got no one else to throw to. Now, granted, he didn't have anyone that could throw the ball. I'd like to see what happens this year because they didn't really get anyone else, and he's the number 1 guy, and everyone knows it. Dart will be, he can't be worse, right?
I understand what you're saying, but Wan'Dale Robinson just had like a 93 catch, like 800-yard season.
I mean, sure, but he was on the team last year.
No. Last year, next to Malik Neighbors, he had like a 93 catch, 800-yard season. So
it's true.
He caught a lot of balls and didn't do anything with them.
Yeah.
At least Malik Neighbors was good.
Malik Neighbors is very good.
I don't, like I said, he was in my honorable mentions.
Insane.
He does remind me of someone else from the Giants who his rookie year had 91 catches, 1,300 yards, 14 yards per reception, 12 touchdowns in OBJ. But
Eli was balling.
Yeah, but I'm not ready to just throw Malik Neighbors in off of 1 year. Like I need to see a little more consistency, to be honest.
This is the same guy that put Marvin Harrison top 10, even though he never played.
That was a projection, and I never put on like rookies in my list like that, but I did. I was trying something new, and I didn't. It didn't work out. But you got to try to figure it out. But I don't hate it. Like you guys have them 8 and 7. I'm okay with that. If you had them like 5, then I'd be like, what are you on? Like, let's calm down. Like that's like I could have put Travis Fulgham in this fucking list then if you're gonna put him off based off of 1 year. But
that's a name drop.
Yeah,
that was a good name.
He was the promised land, and then I don't know what happened.
That Steelers game was awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, he didn't make my list. Like I said, honorable mention. Him and Brian Thomas are they're the new wave. I think they'll both be on mine next year. So that was your 7, Josh.
That was my 7. That was a good transition.
My 7 was Tyreek Hill. We touched on him. So, Tim, who's your 7?
My 7 is a guy I could repeat the same narrative I said about Devontae Smith, but change it because this guy's the 1A, where Devontae Smith is the 1B. So I'm going with St. Brown here. I'm on St. Brown.
7? 7?
7?
What?
Oh, my.
I'm happy with him there. I mean, listen.
7?
You could make the same argument you're going to make.
You can't. You can't. There's no argument for him to be 7.
That guy's got weapons all over him.
He did a handstand on his head.
I'm cool.
7?
I'm you know what? It's
I don't even know what to say.
I'm with you.
I'm
Josh.
a little higher on Tyreek Hill's bounce back than you are. I think that was the big switch. I could mix. So Tyreek Hill's my number 6. Not to spoil any.
Tyreek Hill is 7 years older than him.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm still confident that if Tua's brain forms into a stable structure, Tyreek Hill bumps back up into the top 5. St. Brown, do you really think
Why
St.
can't they
Brown's
both be in the top five? There's another spot in there.
And a Pro Bowler and first team All Pro wide receiver is your number 7.
Does Amon St. Brown? I'm confident where he's at. I don't think his ceiling gets higher.
What do you mean his ceiling is the fourth best receiver in the NFL? How much higher do you want it to be?
It's not as good. Hey, listen, this was a down year compared to last year.
He had 12 touchdowns.
Down year, almost 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns.
I mean, listen, there's nothing against it. I think there's no problem with number 7. I like Amon St. Brown. I do.
Clearly, you hate him.
But he's force-fed the ball in an elite offense. Nothing against him.
Force-fed the ball?
Very well. He does very well in that situation.
Mind you, his target to reception rating is insane. 141 targets for 115 receptions.
He's crazy efficient.
That's pretty good.
When's he getting double teamed though? When the defense is just spread clean.
He's the only receiver on the field.
I mean, let's not pretend like Jameson Williams is like a top 10 wide receiver. He's still like a young guy.
What about Jamar Gibbs or Sam Laporta? There's plenty of weapons.
No one's guarding him.
They're behind the line of scrimmage. The fuck, like Amon-Ra is the.
I forgot. Receiver. Jamar Gibbs never goes out to catch a ball, or Sam Laporta.
I thought it was Jahmyr Gibbs.
I've heard it both ways. He's in the perfect position. I mean, listen, you've got the perfect setup. You got Jameson Williams on the deep ball. You got Jamar Gibbs just dominating the midfield. Sam Laporta, whatever way you want to do it.
Just go Jamar again.
He's in a great position.
Why are you saying it's like a bad thing? Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, so wait,
played the Chiefs forever.
We're either punishing
and then he went and dominated with his.
Or punish them because they're on a shitty offense, or punish them because they're on a good offense, or punish them because they have a number 1 receiver next to them. Like, we can't keep making exceptions. Like, are they good?
No. The biggest argument, the biggest difference between Tyreek Hill and Amon St. Brown. Tyreek Hill was incredible with the Chiefs. Valid. He was the number 1 guy. He moved on. He was the number 1 guy with the Dolphins. Incredible again. He played with Tua, whose brain is mashed potatoes, and it brought him back a little bit. Amon St. Brown has been in the perfect offense for him. He is the number 1 in this perfect offense, and I'll give him credit for that. But there's something we said about Malik Neighbors. Amon St. Brown gets peppered with targets, but is...
So Amon-Ra St. Brown's rookie season was better than the season that Tyreek Hill just had.
I mean, sure, this is Tyreek Hill's, worst season of his career?
No, probably his rookie season, but it was really bad. Yeah, he played every game and didn't break 1,000 yards. Wait,
you brought this up. Who was throwing him the ball?
Who cares? He didn't do anything.
If Tyler and Dakota
who was throwing the ball to Brian Thomas Jr.? Mac Jones.
Yeah, but you know what? They're a team that didn't win. Amon St. Brown's in a great situation. Don't get me wrong. Jared Goff's got a day and a half.
How can you ding him because of being in a good situation?
Like Jared Goff is a world beater now. Amon-Ra's been a first team All-Pro in back-to-back years. You know how many wide receivers there are in the league to be first team All-Pro back-to-back years in his 3rd and 4th season in the league? Give the man his flowers. That's usually I'm the one that's making the mistakes like that.
I think 7 is perfectly healthy.
How?
I'm more confident in Tyreek Hill jumping up.
You can name 7 better receivers. There's 6 better receivers than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, listen, Tyreek Hill's my next guy, and I do feel more confident in him going forward.
How?
Tyreek Hill showed you he is the offense. He's been the number 1 guy in 2 different offenses.
He just showed you he's not.
Amon-Ra has never once showed me that he can do it in an offense that only has him.
And how is that a bad thing?
That's not
how
his
is that
fault.
a bad thing?
It's not his fault.
It's literally the opposite argument that you made for Devontae Smith.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, no,
literally the counter argument.
No,
he's never done it, and the other all Amon-Ra St. Brown has done it is shown that he's done it.
Put Devontae Smith in Amon St. Brown's role.
Amon-Ra.
Tell me something. I don't think it's too far off. I really don't.
What do you mean? He showed you he's done it. That's you can say if anything. He's literally done it. His stats say that he's way better than the 7th best receiver in the NFL.
I've seen him as number 7. Tyreek Hill's also done it at 2 different teams with Very
Not
suspect
last year.
quarterbacks.
What? You just dinged Nico Collins so much for having a 12-game season, and Tyreek Hill has a bad season. You're like, you know what? Nico Collins is injury prone, and Tyreek Hill is still a world beater.
Yeah, but what are you going to do with Skylar Thompson and Dakota throwing you passes?
You could be like Malik Neighbors and still have 1,200 yards and 110 catches.
Sure, and you may win, 3 games?
They both won like 3 games.
The Dolphins won more than that. The Dolphins had more success than the Giants did. The Giants
7
were
games.
losing by 1 million every single game. That's what
I'm
helps.
just giving you production. They both didn't win anything. They both missed the playoffs. They both weren't good.
I think the fact that Amon-Ra has the numbers he has, and you just said he's surrounded by talent at every position, like that's impressive that he's able to put up those numbers.
They also run the ball 35 times a game.
Yeah, they have 2 running backs they need to feed.
I mean, that all helps. That helps get you open.
It literally hurts your Devonta Smith argument that they ran the ball so much. His numbers are terrible.
It goes hand in hand. Put Devontae Smith in a Amon-Ra St. Brown's situation. I don't think things will be that much different.
What's the word you used? It's the eye test. Have you watched Amon-Ra on the field?
I've seen him once or twice.
He runs like sideline to sideline. He'll block. He'll go up and get the ball. His little 6 foot frame. He'll
Scores
do reverses.
touchdowns.
He'll rush score touchdowns.
I mean, you're telling me I feel like I've seen another 6 foot skinny dude do that same exact thing in a good offense. But
I don't think he's ever had 115 catches, 1,263 yards, and 12 touchdowns.
He's never needed to.
Okay.
Moving on.
Well,
So that was your 7,
7.
and then Tyreek Hill was your 6. So Josh, did we do your 7 yet?
Yeah, we did Malik Neighbors.
Okay, so my number 7 was Hill. So who's your number 6?
Puka Nacua I have at 6.
I also have Puka Nacua at number 6.
Oh, look at that.
So,
First matchup.
Nice.
Wait. So, Tim, where do you Puka Nacua?
Apparently above Amon-Ra.
This one, I'll die on the hill for Puka. He's the most.
Whoa, you have Puka Nacua above Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah,
and you shit on Nico Collins for playing 12 games, and Puka Nacua played 11 games.
That London heat wave messing with your head.
Puka Nacua is the eye test.
Shut up.
The eye test?
I don't even know where I have him.
All right. Let's go with the
Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
2023 breakout rookie season. Probably one of the greatest rookie wide receiver seasons ever. 105, 1486, and 6. Came back. Lit it up. What was a little injured, he had 79 catches for 990 yards, 3 touchdowns, but paced 122, 15, 29, and 5.
Yeah, according to Tim, he's probably injury prone now.
He's probably injury prone now, but if he wasn't injury prone and he played all 17 games, we're probably talking into the same categories like a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, if he went back-to-back 1,500 yards. He didn't, so he's probably injury prone. But eye test. The guy is a baller.
Yeah.
He beats you with the ball in his hands. He scores touchdowns. He goes up and gets it. He's someone that everyone's like, oh, he's a Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford merchant. He was just there. And then he went back, and then he absolutely ate this year when he was on the field. And I think he's well-deserving to be 6th. And like I said, if he probably played more games, he probably would be a little higher.
Yeah, my reasoning, again, he did miss 6 games. See how he works with Devontae Adams now. I mean, he had Cooper Kupp, so I mean, fairly similar play level at their age. I feel like Devontae Adams probably a slight edge, but I don't know. I think the touchdowns bother me a little bit. I mean, for the crazy year he had as a rookie, he only had 6 touchdowns, and then this past season he only had 3. He's the volume of targets he gets, a lot better this year. 74% of the targets he caught, but his rookie year was 65%. And then we just talked about Amon-Ra was like 80% catch rate from targets versus receptions. But yeah, I think he'll bounce back, play a full season. He's a tough guy, and I think him and Stafford have a good chemistry. I did not see him. I mean, I don't think anyone saw him bursting onto the scene like he did out of, where is he from? Washington? Or or BYU.
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 BYU. Fifth
But
round.
he's 24, 6'2", 212 pounds, and I think he'll rebound. Like you said, his rookie year Pro Bowl, second rookie of the year voting, and then all pro, second team All Pro as a rookie. So, but I think he's just outside top 5. Very good player. Very 2 years of consistency there, but he'll be in the top 10. Just he's not quite top 5 echelon.
Tim, please tell me he's your 6 and not your top 5.
Well, you already know my number 6.
No, Tyreek Hill.
Jesus Christ.
So I guess we're breaking top 5. So Josh, who's your number 5?
Number 5, I have AJ Brown.
See, now you lost me again.
Me?
Yeah, wow, you're really sipping the Kool-Aid on St. Brown here.
Over AJ Brown?
Yeah, I don't
know about that one.
I don't know about that
with
one.
you.
Tim, he just missed 4 games, Tim. He's injury prone, according to you.
Well, wait, hold on. Reasoning before I brought up Nico Collins not playing football.
What?
Nothing? No?
Go ahead. Just go
My
ahead.
Nico Collins rant about his injury prone has fed most of your debates here.
Yeah, because it's a ridiculous thing to say. And then you list Puka above him, and he played one more game or one less game.
Well, first off, Puka I have 2 seasons to go off of. So my number 5.
So do you have Nico Collins in the same thing?
No, Nico Collins.
We're moving on.
4 seasons.
We're moving on. AJ Brown. AJ Brown, 28 years old, stud. I mean, you can have him 4, you can have him 5. I don't think he breaks the top 3. I think there's a big tier after the top 3. He's a stud. I mean, you can have him 5, you can have him 4, you can have him 3. He paced at the same season that he always gets this year. Did he play 17 games? Is he injury prone? According to Tim, maybe he is. But he still paced 1,400 plus yards, 9 touchdowns. He's a hell of a receiver. He's obviously top 5 in the league, and I don't think that's a knock on him to have him 5 instead of 4.
Listen, I won't kill you. I mean, he's not far from where I'm at. I do agree with you. There's 3 is the elite tier, and then you can mix and match. I think realistically, what we said, like 13 to 9, I think is a mix and match. 8 to 6, 4 to 5. Yeah, they're right around there, and then 1, 2, and 3 are just, I think Head and Shoulders a little higher.
I mean, I think 1 and 2 are kind of separate.
Yeah, actually,
and 3, 4, 5 to me.
I think 3 is closer to 4 and 5 than he is to 1 and 2.
Correct, but 1 and 2, and then 3 is on their own little tier, and then 4 and 5.
I went with Puka.
I think we're gonna have the same argument we had last year about this, but go ahead.
I went Puka number 5. I'm big on Puka. I think he's extremely underrated. The difference between Puka and Nico is one.
I mean, he's been in the league for 2 years.
What do you mean?
Extremely underrated.
He's
so
how do you have Puka at your 5?
He's an eye test kind of gal.
Where did you have him last year?
That's a good question. Valid question. I don't know off the top of my head.
Because he literally took a step back this year. He played 11 games.
I had him at 9 last year, and I put him up to 6.
So wait, that's the same like nonsensical reasoning. I had
he's not top 5. How is he top 5? He just played 11 games, and you shit on Nico for doing the same thing. They both have 1 great season and 1 injured season.
We're just yelling at each other the whole time. We're not.
To be fair, wait, hold on. Enough with the Nico. Nico's been in the league for 4 years.
That was like an hour ago.
Okay, fine. But it runs the same thing though. The Puka and Nico, they're the same situation.
What puts him into the top 5 for you?
I mean, first off, all right, the rookie year. The fact that Nico Collins is still being brought up in a top 5 wide receiver is insane.
Your firstborn is going to be called Nico Collins.
It's just insane to think. But yes, you brought it up. Yeah, correct. He did get hurt this year. He did miss some time. We all know that. I think we can agree with that.
Oof.
I'm acknowledging it. Well, I'm big here. But let's look at his playoff season. I'm sorry, the playoffs this year. guy just balled the fuck out in the playoffs. When he's healthy, when he's there, you look at this guy, he's so big, he's tough to bring down. He did miss some games, but I see a top 5 wide receiver in him. And I know, for whatever reason, Nico Collins keeps being brought up, but he went for like 100 yards and 6 receptions against the Eagles. Against the Vikings, 5 and 44, moderate. He was cooking. Like looking at you look at December, 162, 97, 56, 129. Like once he got healthy, the games he played, you're talking about 123, 117, 162, like 106. When he's healthy, he plays. He's dominant. He missed some games.
You can say that for a lot of people.
When he's healthy,
he plays.
We're not talking
Nico Collins, when he's also healthy, he also plays.
Yeah, but find me a guy that's hurt that is 24, 2 years in the league, and his rookie season went for 1,500 yards. They don't exist. I think Devontae Adams is going to help him a lot. Puka Nacua is 1A without doubt. Cooper Kupp was still a thing when he was there. He's going to take 1A, and I think he's going to cook this year, as long as he stays healthy.
A lot of ifs in your top 10.
Well, this is the top 5.
I know you have it 3, and I disagree so hard on it, but we'll get to that. But breaking my top 5, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I said his name correctly. A lot of the arguments that we already made against Tim and his number 7 case, but I just he fits Detroit really well. He's such like a gritty player. Like he'll get his hands dirty. A little bit reminds, not like, exactly, but kind of like George Kittle vibes. Like he'll go and block. He'll get he'll line up at running back if he has to. Like they'll move him around wherever, and he'll do it to help the team win. So I just think he's a great teammate for them. He fits the lines perfectly. I can't argue against 3 straight years of 1,000 yards. And the last 2 years, he's had double-digit touchdowns. Like I already said, he's AP first team last 2 years, 3-time Pro Bowler, 3 in a row. And his rookie year was 900 yards. So, he came on the scene, did his thing, and then, got better. Obviously, his 23 season was 1,500 yards, and then this past year was only 1,200. But, I still think for him getting 81% of his catch rate, so targets versus actual receptions, that's kind of rare in the league, especially when we get to our number 1s and 2s. But I think he's a baller. He's a great example of what you should strive to be as a receiver, and he seems like a great locker room guy too. So all around, great player. Started my number 5.
Yeah, I think he's way closer to 5 than 7. I have him at 4. I think he's a baller. I think, like for all the reasons that you said. You look for a pro, consistent, gets his nose dirty, he scores touchdowns, he's a star, and he does all the little things right. That's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's
good
the thing,
football player.
Our top 10 receivers should be a guy that, no matter how what his measurements are or whatever, you're gonna be looking for him. I need game on the line. I need a catch. He's a guy you would throw to. So
100%.
I think he fits in, and I didn't, after his first years, I didn't think he would be jumping up in my top 10 like this, but he's been consistent, and the Lions have come a long way offensively, and he's a major piece of that. So
yeah, like you said though, especially for the fit in their scheme, he will play inside, he'll play outside, he'll be in the backfield, he'll take sweeps, he'll block. He does everything. He does it all so well, and you can just tell from where he came in the league and where he's at now, the guy just works his ass off, and he just every Sunday balls out. And that's why I'm 4. I have AJ Brown 5, which is fine. Yeah. And I think having Amon-Ra St. Brown 4, it can go either way for me. I honestly it's very tough going back and forth between both of them because they're both so consistent and they do so much for their offenses that I think that they're both very deserving in the top 5.
Fair enough. Well, then that's your 4. So Tim, who's your number 4?
My 4, not too different from what you guys have been saying. I went with AJ Brown.
Hmm.
We touched on, I think with him and Amon St. Brown, the same argument keeps coming up is they're in a great offense. Where do they rank? Everything I said about Devontae Smith can just be flipped on the other side of the guy that keeps Devontae Smith at 1B instead of 1A. I mean, since he's got to the Eagles, he's just been money. He's been pretty much 1,500 every year minus this one when he missed some time.
He
But
still paced it though.
the biggest thing for him, he's a big dude, would not want to tackle him, but he's such a deep threat. Is
He's
the other thing. Like,
the biggest 6'1" guy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's
He's
6'5".
I would have thought he was 6'4".
Yeah.
his catcher, like he's never been below 13 yards per catch, per reception in his career.
It's
Like,
Interesting.
insane. Like this guy is so big and he's just so speedy. Guy's an elite wide receiver on an elite team. He's still only 27. Like you could theoretically say his best years are still ahead of him.
I think he's gonna be 20. I think if he didn't turn 20, he's gonna turn 28 very soon.
His birthday was today or yesterday. He just turned 20.
Listen, I think I looked at it today.
Yeah.
Is
I
his birthday
don't think
really today?
I forgot to wish him a happy birthday. Yeah.
Happy birthday, AJ Brown.
Yeah. Let me text him real quick.
30th. Yeah. Wow. Look at that. All right. That was the whole thing. Happy birthday, AJ Brown.
Shout out AJ Brown. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're all Eagles fans here, so it's hard to sometimes rank him and Devontae. Those two are what was it, Batman and Robin, or Batman 1, Batman 2. I forget what they. But
Swole Batman, a skinny Batman.
so that's
or
what it
something?
was. Yeah. I have the same argument that I had last year because AJ Brown is my number 3 and CD Lamb is my number 4. And
Yeesh.
and I'm gonna lead off with what Tim just gave me a great example. You look at the production. I mean, AJ Brown, we're looking at his yards per reception, 16.1 last year, and he missed some time, and then 13.7, 17, 13.8.
And we're doing AJ Brown right now, or we're doing CD Lamb?
I skipped ahead, so I'm doing AJ Brown at 3.
That's fine.
And 15.4, and his rookie year had 20 yards per reception, but he only played he didn't have 52 catches for 1,000 yards. That's actually insane.
Yeah.
CD Lamb on the other hand, 11, 13, 12, 13, 12. He's a volume guy. Don't get me wrong, he's probably the best slot, quick slot guy in the league. He's a great receiver. I have him at 4. It's not to knock him at all, but he's a guy that depends on volume. And for me, AJ Brown is that guy that will, if I need, like I said, if I need someone to go up and get the ball 10 out of 10 times, I have confidence in him going to get it. He's strong. He's fast. People can't guard him. He has the highest win rate against single coverage of any wide receiver in the league the last 2 or 3 seasons. And just last year, looking at his the catch percentage like we were doing earlier, AJ Brown, looking at 69, 67, so good range. CD Lamb, 66, 68, 74. They're in the same range as far as targets. If AJ Brown was getting the same amount of targets that CD Lamb was getting, his numbers would be insane. But I don't know. I look at CD, almost 1,200 yards on 100 catches, only 6 touchdowns.
Well,
Granted,
only 15 games.
sure,
And Cooper Rush.
only 15 games. Okay, AJ played 13 games, had almost 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 16.1 yards per catch.
One got to play with Jalen Hurts, the other played with Cooper Rush. How many
That
games
is
did Dak play? 7?
That's
Who
a
was
good argument.
who was he had Tennessee?
Didn't Trey Lance get in the game sometimes?
I think he had a fumble at some point. I feel
Sure,
like that happened.
I get it. Quarterback play, we talked about Terry Kill having a revolving door as well. But I mean, Malik Neighbors had a better season than CD Lamb, and he had he had Italian deli people throwing him the ball. But They're like you could flip them. I'm not too like I think they're like I said, I think it's 1 and 2, and I think Lamb and AJ Brown are the 3 and 4s where maybe one game one's better than the other. But like I'm sorry, I just not even being a fan, but like you can't tell me 1-on-1 with a corner that you'd rather have CD Lamb than AJ Brown. I just don't. I think CD Lamb could be more explosive for sure. But AJ Brown, like that's you want a possession receiver, a guaranteed catch. I mean, AJ's not a big drop guy, so
Yeah, I think they're both really good. Like, it's hard to when you get to this kind of level of production with some of these guys, it's very hard to like nitpick.
yeah.
1,500 yards versus 1,700 yards. What do you just go off peaks?
I mean,
135, 1,712
he was on
from
pace.
CD Lamb.
He was on pace for 88. AJ was on pace for 88 catches.
Yeah, 1,400.
Yeah, 1,400 yards, maybe 10 touchdowns. Yep. So,
but
yeah,
Lamb last year when he went 135, 1,750, and 12 with a healthy Dak all year just shows how incredible he is. AJ Brown's never had a season like that.
Well, AJ Brown's CeeDee Lamb is also the only mouth to be fed. Like they don't have to worry about who else are they throwing the ball to. And they didn't have a running game. That year that you were talking about, they had no run game. So
I agree.
Again,
but when you just look at he's done it. He's had a 1750 season with 135 catches and 12 touchdowns. Like that's a season. That's an all-time season.
Yeah, I mean 900 for CD, 900 yards his rookie year, 1,000, 1,100,
1,100,
1,400, almost 1,800, then 1,200. AJ 1,000, 800, 1,500, 1,500, a little over 1,000, and he only played 13 games. So
they're very similar.
But again, you have to look at volume. Like they're not getting the same amount of. Well, that year he had 1,800 yards. He had 181 targets. Like
it's good.
You're gonna have a lot.
I mean, 135 of them. Though.
I would have 1,000 yards
to put up those stats.
Targets.
Though, you need those targets. I think. I mean, this is a coin flip, really. I went CeeDee Lamb at 3. The only reason that I put him there is one, the inconsistency at quarterback, and he still put up. And 2, he is the only option there. I think we did touch on the long yards per reception with AJ Brown, but it helps when the team around him is so good. You're stacking the box to stop Saquon Barkley. It's hard to have a safety over top. CeeDee Lamb is just catching the ball all the time. But I think
he's against the fourth best defender in the secondary.
All right, so now it leads into 1 and 2. And I'm curious because this, I think, was closer than it had been in other years. Did anyone go other than I went Jefferson 1 and Chase at 2?
I did the same thing.
Chase jumping Justin Jefferson this year because he put up one.
I didn't have it yet.
No, I don't. I think if Jefferson, because how many games did he miss this year?
Jefferson?
Yeah,
I didn't have him missing any.
I thought he missed games, or was that the year before?
That was the year before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I had him 100, 103, 1,510.
Yeah, I mean, the production like obviously jumps out at you for Chase, but I
mean, 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns on over 100 receptions. Like the thing is, Justin Jefferson
with Sam Darnold
to give up no more.
With Sam Darnold,
yeah, I do. Sam Darnold is criminally overrated. I think the biggest thing with Justin Jefferson, like it almost sounds insane because you could make the argument is what could have Jamar Chase done to get him over Justin Jefferson because he pretty much did it. But what did Justin Jefferson do to lose the top spot? Because he was pretty awesome.
Well, I think that a big thing in the difference between Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase's season is the Vikings won a lot of games. And they were very competitive, and they blew out a lot of teams. Defense. And Jamar Chase had quite the opposite season. They were throwing 40, 50 times a game because they were always losing, and their defense was horrible.
And
I don't think it's a knock on him. He did it. But the difference between the two seasons is that Sam Darnold didn't throw. He did throw for almost, I think, 4,500 yards. But it wasn't Joe Burrow's season.
Yeah.
It wasn't what Joe Burrow did.
I mean, the biggest thing is Jamar Chase had 175 targets, Justin Jefferson 154.
because they didn't
And
throw
I
as
mean,
much.
the 17 touchdowns is impressive, but again, you're right. This is a team that was losing every single game. They couldn't stop anyone. At some points, the play calling changes. The Bengals were always losing. The
Yeah.
Vikings had leads where they didn't need to pepper Justin Jefferson. The Bengals were constantly losing. I mean, how many leads did they actually comfortably have during the season?
Yeah. I mean, I'll give so yeah, like I'm Jamar 2, Justin 1. Um but I think wasn't it what was y'all's rating last year? Because I feel like I was the one I put see, I might
You
have been
Chase
wrong.
one.
I was wrong about Marvin Harrison Jr. last year, but I was right putting Chase at number 2 last year.
You crushed that.
Yeah.
No, I think you had Chase one.
Mm,
I had Justin Jefferson number one.
last year I had Chase at 2.
It was still a great call.
Yeah. And he was offensive player of the year, I think, right? Oh no,
Yeah.
Saquon was.
Yeah.
Um,
One. Yeah.
or wait, yeah. Anyways, um, I think if Jeddah had, I mean, it is very similar. Like, Jamar had 127 catches, 1,700 yards. Like the touchdowns, Chase is killing Justin in, but
Yeah.
you look at the same thing, 128 yards, or excuse me, 128 catches for Jefferson 2 years ago, 1,800 yards. So if the volume was there for Jeddah this past season, like he would have been right there with Jamar. I think Jamar does have a slight edge with touchdowns, but I think I think it's you kind of do have to factor in quarterback and the fact that you
Touchdowns.
know,
Yeah.
like yeah, Kirk Cousins was a good quarterback, and I mean Sam Darnold had a good season, but like Joe Burrow is a top 3 quarterback, top 4, whatever you want to put him. Like there's a difference. Like he's gonna put that ball on the money. Jeddah's got to kind of work around players, trying to find the where the ball is gonna land. So that's why I kept Jeddah at 1. I mean, if Chase comes out and has 800 yards again and Jeddah is like 1,400, I would swap them. But I think just looking at the peak of both of their best seasons, and besides touchdowns, Jeddah was a little better. So that's how I kind of did my 1 and 2s.
And
But both
and I
phenomenal.
feel like as a weapon standpoint, like Chase has Higgins across the other side of the field.
Yeah.
Like Addison's good, but like Higgins is a beast.
He's very good.
Like
He was in
as
my
much as you want to double.
he was in my like my list of potential honorable mentions. T Higgins. So
Yeah, but he is injury prone, even though it is. But he's a beast when he's on the field, and like you can't double Chase because Higgins will burn you.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see this year. Like Jamar Chase literally couldn't have done more, but Justin Jefferson did too much to give up the throne. They just
yeah.
The Bengals defense is gonna be worse.
that is true.
I didn't know
Hendrickson
that was
is
possible.
not playing.
Well, Justin Jefferson name, he's got what's his face?
JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy. So we'll see. I think it could only help his rating if he balls out. So
I do-
it'll be a fun year.
I do find it really interesting though, looking at Jamar's stats, that his rookie season, he had 81 catches for 1,500 yards, pretty almost, at an 18 yard reception rate. But then like ever since then, it's been around like 12 and 13 because I guess he's just getting targeted a lot more. But I don't know. It's just it's interesting. But to average 100.5 yards per game is it can barely fit on like the chart here. That's how insane it is. So, but Jeddah was 106.4, his MVP almost season. So
What did he pace last year though? Because he had like 68 catches and 1,000 yards in like 10 games, right?
oh shit, yeah. Last year Jeddah was 107.4 yards per game.
Yeah.
Holy
He was on
shit.
pace for like almost 2,000.
Yeah. That's the thing I remember because he came back, right, in the second half of
Yeah.
the season, and he was getting like 200 yards a game. Like, it was fucking nuts. That's what I mean. Like they're both like that's where I'm like they're 1 and 2 tier. Like they are the bona fide elite of the elites. And then I think like I would throw in Amon-Ra even like you could say AJ, CD, and Amon-Ra are right in there. And
Yeah.
I mean PFF had AJ at number 1. Like I
Yeah.
love AJ. I'm an Eagles fan, but I don't think he's the best receiver in the league. But I think they're all all of our top 10 like do something, and they all are an impact on their team. So I think that's like the most important thing to take away is that you look at the stats, yada yada, but like, are they actually like doing something for the team? I mean, Jamar, like you said, that defense was horrible for the Bengals. It was Jamar and Joe Burrow were throwing 40 point games, and they were still losing. But yeah, we'll see. Good for Jamar though, because I remember his rookie season, like his first couple games, he was dropping a lot of passes, and then
Yeah.
he quieted the critics real quick. I mean, 1,400 to next year, 1,600. Or no, I'm looking at Jefferson, 1,400, 1,600, 1,800, and then Jamar, 14, 10, 12, 17. Like, I don't know. Mike Evans might be worried about his 11 straight 1,000-yard
Well,
seasons.
let's see.
Jamar
We're
might be
four
coming for that.
seasons in. We're four
Well,
seasons in. Let's see what happens the next
I don't
seven.
know if Jefferson's ever not going to get 1,000 yards.
You never know. We haven't seen JJ
He played
McCarthy
10
yet.
games and still got it.
Yeah, that's
JJ McCarthy might be
nuts.
Dakota throwing the ball. So, but I think it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for next year's. I'm excited for see if Justin Jefferson gets his throne taken, and I think it'll be a good one though. A lot of young guys taking this position.
Yeah. I mean, this year was the first year where it was kind of really difficult to like the ascensions of some guys and the downfalls of other guys, like a Devontae Adams, like Diggs, like Tyreek Hill, and then like the rise of these younger guys from last year because the class was so good with the Lad McConkeys and the Brian Thomases, the Marvin Harrison Juniors, and these guys.
Yeah.
The class was so good. You're like, how do I have only 10 spots when I have 14 top 10 receivers?
Yeah, I mean it fluctuates so much. I mean, compared to last year, my list is pretty, I think, almost the same. The only player that I swapped was Marvin Harrison Jr. Um Scary Terry. But I mean, there was like I said, Stephon Diggs was on here before, Cooper Kupp was on here before, D Hop, and this was only a couple years ago. I mean, Debo Samuel had a sniff.
Yep.
Calvin Ridley was on mine.
Terrible
Allen
choice.
Rob-
Last year?
No, 2021.
Last year, my only people I didn't have was Garrett Wilson and Mike. Oh, and Devontae Adams. I had three guys not on the list.
Garrett Wilson's an interesting.
Two
like,
Jets. So the Jets.
He's a good player, but I think he's, if anything, he's a little overhyped. I think he's not like a game breaker for me. Like, I think he's a great player. I just don't know if he had that
totally
like
agree.
that cool one-handed catch, but like besides that, were we talking about him all year? Really, not too much.
Oh, I think we lost Tim.
Uh-oh. Timothy. Well, we were about to end it. Maybe his phone. I bet you his phone died.
That's probably what happened.
But we can end it without him.
Yeah, well, Garrett Wilson, like I totally agree. I feel like he's on that trajectory where like he's good, but like I don't think he's like elite top 10 stud.
I don't know. It's like Garrett Wilson and Drake London are kind of in like that limbo phase for me, where it's like at any point they could have a 1,500 yard 12 touchdown season, and like we would have them in the discussion. But
yeah,
they've also had inconsistency at quarterback, so it is hard to super evaluate them. But I don't know. There's a lot of good young receivers in the league.
I was like Jackson Smith and Jig was another one who just had 100 catches, 1,000 yards,
and now he's
really good.
Guy, so
yeah, DK's gone. Or next year, if he's on the list, I'm not going to be surprised. Like he was a beast, and he was one of the best college receivers I've ever seen. Like he was a beast.
Where was he? Was he No, not USC.
OSU.
He was also LSU.
OSU.
Oh, OSU. Yeah.
He was with like Emeka Abuka and Marvin Harrison.
Mm-hmm. It's also crazy to think that AJ Brown and DK Metcalf were on the same team for Ole Miss.
Wild.
Like, can you imagine trying to defend? You need to put linebackers out there, corner.
And I think Elijah Moore was on that team too. They were very good.
Yeah, that was elite wide receiver talent there. But yeah, DK is another guy. I think he's in that like
very good
top 20, but he's just inconsistent. He's just a body. I think that's a good example too for like AJ Brown is like they're built the same, but AJ's able to. He's so much smoother. He's able to do so
way
much
better
more.
route runner.
Oh yeah.
Plays inside, plays outside.
So
DK in the slot would be weird.
yeah, it's a shame because Pickens. I think Pickens and DK would have been a lot of fun to watch. But
I don't know what they were doing. They're running their organization worse than the Dolphins are.
They just assembled like the all-time retired team. Like they got like they just got Ramsey and they have Slay. They got Rodgers now. DK, who's been not a decline, but he hasn't been like as dominant.
Plateaued. Yeah.
But
I don't know why they traded Minka for Jalen Ramsey. That was weird.
That makes I gotta imagine some like internal shit, or they were like maybe a contract dispute, but that we don't know about.
It's weird. Yeah, one's like a prime player, and the other one's like on the outs.
Yeah, I don't. It's weird for sure, but
yeah.
But overall, I think good list. I mean, we had our
good list all around.
But
I think Nico Collins was the only one that I just still not going to say tonight because of hip. We'll see.
Yeah, I had a hard time like gauging him at first because I'm like, is it just a stat thing or do I really think? And then I was like watching some highlights again. I'm like, yeah, I think he's definitely them. Like, yeah, he's good. I think he's gonna get talked about.
He reminds me a lot of AJ Brown.
A little smaller, but yeah, similar. Like he'll like go up and get it. He's not afraid to get messy.
Plays inside. I like he can play inside, outside, beat in a bunch of different ways, like AJ Brown does, especially with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I am excited to see where like how Neighbors and Thomas they kind of pan out. But yeah, I mean, who's playing quarterback for the Giants? Is it gonna be Russ or the rookie?
Russ or Winston. Winston will probably be the best for him.
Oh yeah, there's a weird QB room there. But
a little bit everything there.
But all right, well, Josh, thanks for joining us as always on our.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, always great to. No Deontay Johnson this year, huh?
No, he's maybe next year on the Browns.
Okay.
They have to make the team first.
Yeah, that'd be important. All right, well, enjoy your vacation. Peace.
Yep.